everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. This is our first program of the year here with Cardiac Radio, Buzz, and ISF, and MSF, the MSF. So it's good to have you all here today. It's all good because we are celebrating the new year, the new program of the year. But for the other side, it is sad because today our dear friend Janet Duncan passed away, returned to the spiritual world. They are happy over there, and we are sad over here. So I don't want to tell much about Janet because that's the intention of this episode today, is to let you know what the ton of work Janet did behind the scenes, or sometimes acting as a main actor. So and today, as you can see, we have a lot of people here with us. For the first time, we do have our friend Leslie. He's a deputy from a bus. So welcome, Leslie. How are you, my friend? Please, just a quick introduction.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stevan. Hello, everyone. I'm Leslie Brissett, the Deputy Chair of the British Union of Spiritist Societies, working with Elsa Rossi in the role of Chair. And hopefully, this year as a legacy testimony to Janet, we can engage more people from the English-speaking world in the movement and thinking about life not as material, but as spirit. So it's a real privilege to be here. Thank you.
Good. And then we have our regular team, Vanessa Celoni. How are you, my dear?
Happy to be here with everyone, and especially on this day that we're giving our support to Janet so she can transition easily.
Good. My dear Elsa, how are you, my dear?
I'm okay after a cough, getting better. And as you said, today is a special day, is a day of a big party in spiritual world. Janet is going already, and the devout people are there waiting for her. And we are here saying how much important it is to be together and to, as Leslie said, promote her legacy forever now. Thank you very much.
Good. My dear Silvia, how are you?
She has a problem with the internet.
I think with the internet. So, Charles, bonsoir.
Indeed, thank you for having me today. Indeed, it's how to say, a sad news because it's a separation, but we know that it's not the end of anything. And for her, she got free from after more than 97 years incarnated. And all this work she has done. We will try to show a little bit of it today.
Great. So, let me just do something here because this is gonna be better. Okay, so let me try to play a short video. So the idea today, my friends, it is I will play a short video here an interview with Janet Duncan, so you guys will know who were Janet, who was Janet, and then we give our comments. Okay, 1 second, because Silvia is here. My dear, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I'm sorry. I'm having the internet keeps going down for some reason. I'm
No
so
problem.
sorry. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. Oops. Oh, no. I'm have a problem here with my audio. So let's do this. Vanessa, would you mind to give your introduction? Meanwhile, I can upload the video and you can show the video, if you don't mind.
Of course. So I met Janet for the first time in 2004 in Paris at the International Spiritist meeting in Paris celebrating 200 years of Kardec. I'll never forget when I finished my talk in English and she came to me crying. She was so moved. She was so grateful that finally people were speaking her language in Spiritism. And I deeply understood her because when I told Nestor Mazzotti and Vanderlei Marques at the time, if you want me to come, I'll speak in the language that we speak in the US, in spite of it all. Some people didn't like, but one thing is for sure, Janet loved it. And Janet, that's the interesting thing. She didn't become a spiritist because somebody had to convince her. She became a spiritist because she wanted it. And that's one of the main messages that I think she leaves for all of us here. We don't have to convince anybody. It's not our task. Nobody's going to become a spiritist because we're pretty, because we speak fluently, because we don't speak fluently, because people will become spiritists because they want to, just like she did. You know, it came from inside out. So this is the first message that I feel she leaves for all of us spiritists. Do you share? And people will find their way, just like she found her way. Of course, she met Chico Xavier. We have interviews with her at Kardec Radio that you can go to our YouTube channel and listen to it. The second message that she left for us is this: if it's good for you, share with the world. Because when she read the Spiritist message, she wanted people also to understand it clearly. So she translated messages, and mostly, not only, but mostly, a foundational book in Spiritism, the Gospel According to Spiritism. In a country much like the US, where people beyond the churches don't want to talk about the Christ, but she wanted to share the Christ that she met, the Christ that she found out. And that's her second message for all of us as she's being received in the spiritual realm. For us, our deepest gratitude, because she didn't keep it only for herself. She shared with all of us in a translation that is immortalized, not only faithful, but also truthful to the message. And the third thing that for me became in the US, we keep talking about her always in this motto reincarnation is not a vacation. She said that often, and she had it in a full program at Cardiac Radio. And I tell you, it's so wise, because if we had somebody who had her eyes on the ball, was Janet. She never lost sight of why she was here.
No.
None of us are perfect. That's besides the point. But she stayed faithful to it. And she made friends. Whomever came to her, she was strong and firm, but had a sweetheart. And I am 100% sure that Chico Xavier not only introduced her to Spiritism fully, is also now embracing her in her transition back to the spiritual home. My deepest gratitude to her.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear. So let's play the video. But before that, I just want to say good evening to Brazuca 90, Priscilla Reed, Riala Home, and Louviam. So thank you, my dear friends, to be here with us. Okay, so I will play this short video here with a little emphasis to say who are Janet, Duncan.
Stevan, not running.
Yeah,
Not running.
you cannot hear?
It's not running the video. It's frozen.
Oh, really? I'm watching.
Only you.
Let me see. Let me change to this.
Maybe. Yes. Audio. Audio is not.
Audio is still missing, Steven.
Okay, so let me try to work on this audio. Meanwhile, would you mind to call Leslie to join us with his introduction about Janet? Meanwhile, I work him behind the scenes.
I was going to say maybe it's a sign that you're just meant to leave her picture up and we talk, and people can go to the YouTube pages and check out her videos in other times. Because I think one of the things that struck me the most was during COVID, Janet was keen to keep the group going, the Allan Kardec study group in London, online, and people were still meeting regularly. And she was just so kind. She was firm, you know, she said what she meant and she meant what she said, and she had principles and ways of thinking, and she was very keen always to connect things back to the text. What does the text tell us, and how do we pray to make sense of it? And there was a phrase she used to use about uplifting prayer, and she was always really keen on, let's keep the central focus on the sentiment of love for everyone and everything. And the template for that, for her, and she said it was such intensity and warmth when she talked about beloved Master Jesus. And so for her, whenever she would talk I knew that she was connected to things that we couldn't see. And so at one point she said to me that we'd had some past life connections, which is why the sentiment was so strong, and that we'd been together a couple of times in different places, which obviously to me was just like, I don't know where the explanation comes from, but the bond I felt to her and with her was timeless. Anyway, in one year I sent her a Happy Mother's Day greeting because she was motherly, you know, in her care and her interest in what I was doing and where I was going. I travel a lot for work, and she'd send me messages, make sure you're making time for your uplifting prayer. It's important. And even in the Alan Kardec study group, there would be some really intense conversations about what was being prompted by spirit, and her commitment to progression was unwavering. You know, nothing was an excuse to wallow or have self-pity. It was all about the learning and the growth and the development. And then when she got ill and had to go into hospital, and she asked me to be a next of kin, so I worked with, I'd have to name them because I think, you know, there's that song, the hymn, when I needed a neighbor, were you there? The creed and the color and the name won't matter, were you there? And I think Marta and her husband Malcolm have been such stalwart neighbors for Janet, taking care of her, shopping, being present, coordinating all kind of carers and housekeepers and everything with no complaint. No, it's too much, because Janet could be very demanding. You know, she had certain things she would eat and certain things she wouldn't, and if she didn't get her food when she needed it, somebody had to be held to task. And it was never bullying, but it was always firm and clear, and I adored it. I loved the way she'd tell me off sometimes, because, you know, once I went to see her and she was asleep, and she said, "Why do people keep waking me up? You know, the morning is not my time. I told people to come later," and it was just beautiful. And so yesterday I spent some time, when I heard that she was being moved to a ward. I flew in and came, and Elsa was there, and Svili and Jenny and others, and Marta, and just to sit with her, and we prayed together, we sang hymns together, and I sat with her last night. And in her room there was a door to a garden. So I'd been reading the gospel according to Spiritism, just reading, and we were reading a section about children and mothers. And while I was reading that, the door to the garden blew open. It was freezing outside. The door blew open, and at the same time as the door blew open, I got a message from Elsa, a text message. And so I was like, oh, so I had to go and close the door. And I was like, how did this door blow? It was a metal door, which was locked all the time, and it blew open. And I felt at that point, it was like she was ready. She was ready. And that was 8:49 yesterday in the evening. And so we left a couple of books for the ward at the Margaret Centre at Whipps Cross Hospital, just as a token of thanks for all the care that the staff had given to Janet. And that hopefully now that Spiritism book will be in their day room for people from Christian, Muslim, Jewish, and other faiths and none to have access to work that she made available. You know, she did the translation and brought it in for us. And I think we all owe her a great gift of gratitude for what she's made possible. So I'm honored and privileged to be here and to be working with Elsa in the British Union of Spiritist Societies to continue the opening of the door for people to discover Allan Kardec and what the spiritual benefactors are bringing for us. It's time. Thanks, Stevan.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you very much for your kind words. And now I give the floor to my dear Silvia Gibbons.
Thank you. Well, it's I feel this is the end of an era, really. And I knew Janet for a very long time, and she was the one really who started guiding me in the study of Spiritism. And we still had, when I first started, I think back in 1986, 87, something like that, was still in her house. So I used to go there, and I met, there was this meeting for Dr. Marleni and Dr. Julia who came, and I went to this meeting, and a friend of mine actually gave my name to Janet, and we went to her house, and he started studying there. And this friend of mine who went with me, who actually invited me, took me, gave my name, they never went again, and I was the only one who stayed. I suppose I was supposed to go. But then she talked to me, she invited me to come over to have a cup of tea, which, we always talk with some food around us. And she gave me a lot of information about Spiritism. She talked to me, and she invited me to start the studies with them, which I did. And then we did the mediumship course, and we started a mediumship group, which was wonderful. It was a very, very important period of my life. And I'm always so very grateful that she was the one who guided me into the study of Spiritism, the understanding. And, when I first opened the Spirit's book, and I saw the index, the content, and I thought, oh my God, it was like every question that I ever had in my life, it was there, about God and life and death and joy and all sorts of things. And then we started studying with her, and then afterwards, the group was beginning to grow, and we started the Forest Hall, and we had our meetings there. And I live literally on the other side of London. You have to transverse the whole town. And I used to go to Janet's house 3 times a week to study. And then we had the meetings on Monday, the mediumships on Wednesday, and the studies that we continued at her home. Spent Christmas Eve with her. And I will be forever grateful that she was the one who guided me into the study of Spiritism, the understanding of it. And most important, and I think one of the most important things that Janet had was her dedication to the works of Kardec. She never deviated. She never tried to have new conceptions, because now, if Kardec would be writing now, he would be saying something else. Janet was extremely faithful to the Spirit's book, to the Medium's book, to the works of the codification, really. And this is something that I keep with me very, very much, because you could interpret things in many ways, but all the answers are already there in the Spirit's book. And she was just launching as well the translation of the Gospel according to Spiritism, which is the one I still have. I know there are many editions have been done now, but I keep it because in her first translation, she used the King James Version of the Bible, because a lot of the new Bibles now, they have changes, they have little differences, they have even changed the Lord's Prayer in some of the books. So I think that was one of the things that I most admired her, that she never deviated from what Kardec wrote, the Spirit taught us in the Spirit's book. It was actually looking back in that period that I was learning about Spiritism. I met other people who, like me, was also starting about reading Kardec, even though I used to go with my father to the Spiritist Center when I was 3 years old. But then one thing and another, never continued. And I was really beginning to study Spiritism here in England many, many, many years later. And we used to go to her house also for barbecues, for tea. And we're always talking about Spiritism, about learning the new books. The first books of Andrea Louise that I read, of course, were hers because we didn't have any literature here. And she was so kindly she lent us the books, made them available for us to read, which was very, very important. And, it was, I think, one of the happiest times of my life, going 3 times a week to Walthamstow and talking about Spiritism, learning, and with Janet and some other people she knew, and meeting people as well that were also beginning to study and to learn with us. And I think it was one of the happiest days of my life. And I'll be forever grateful to her. And I know she's happy now. She had a long life, and I think she dedicated all her life to Spiritism, to the dissemination, to the groups. I remember when we first started that she said, oh, I found this place really nice, beautiful, and we'll be able to have more people coming because her front room wasn't that big. And she was so happy to say, oh, from Monday we're going to start. And we had lots of people. And another thing as well that was extremely important, and I think is something sometimes we miss, is that she always made sure that the work was in English. The meetings were in English, the people,
That's the
and
most
I know
important
people
thing.
who, when they first came, they didn't really speak English very well, and they learned going to the center. Because she, I think one point she said, no, we need to help the people of the country, and I think this is very, very important. And when I started my own group, I always made sure our group is in English, and I've never deviated from that. And also from the lessons that I learned from her, to be faithful to the teachings of the spirits. And, as I said, it was a wonderful time. She helped me a lot. There were some differences as well of opinion that sometimes we had, but mostly I'm so grateful, so grateful to her. I don't think if it wasn't for her and the way she sort of was quite firm in guiding you to things, maybe I wouldn't be in Spiritism, and I would have missed the greatest part of the greatest learning that you can have in your life. I think the thing that Vanessa was saying before, Janet had this thing sometimes, oh, reincarnation is not a holiday. And then she had another, and some other quotation, or you're going to have 1 million reincarnations before you become a perfect spirit. And it was interesting because we could sort of see something, we could aim at something, and she was always very good in guiding you to see the purpose, the future. And she's going to be greatly missed here, but I'm sure she's happy now. She's there with her family, which she loved, and her friends. And, I think with Vanessa also made sure she'll be there. Xavier will be waiting for her. And I'm sure so many of the spirits of the English culture as well that are there because of the work that she started here was really the return of the Spiritism, Kardec to England, because before when Nana Blackwell was still alive and everything, she translated the books. But Janet really brought Spiritism according to the teachings of the Spirit, the books of Kardec. And it was a seminal work. And God willing, we learn from her and be inspired by her to continue the work, to disseminate the works of the spirits here in England, and to continue the work that she started and help us, both of us, here in a movement now in England, with our own groups and everything. But the seed, she was the one who planted it. So God willing, we'll continue with the work, and to make her happy that we continue the work that she started. And I'm so grateful. I'll be forever grateful to her. So, yeah, well, I'm glad that I'm here with you today, sharing this moment. I think she would be very pleased.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. And also, we do have our dear friend Charles, which work with Janet in translations and sharing a lot of moments as well, isn't it, Charles?
Yes, indeed. So thank you for having me, because first time I met her, I think it was in 1995 in the first Spiritist Congress in Brasilia. And from that time, there was a good affinity with her. Albeit I'm French, she was really very, very British. We had a very good understanding, and also a lot of common points of agreements of what is the best way to disseminate Kardec's ideas in our countries, in Western Europe mostly. And I went there with another colleague of us, which was Roger Perez. He had the same age as Janet, a little bit older, and he passed away some years ago already now. And we visited her in 1998 in February. It was the 10th anniversary of the Allan Kardec study group at that time. And it was very interesting because we saw this, affinity between French and Roger was really a typical French guy, and Janet was really a typical British lady, But the understanding was really very, very good. And I remember Roger received communication of the spirit of Léon Denis at that occasion. And one of the characteristics of Janet is she was quite strong-minded. She had a strong mind. When she was not liking something, she was really telling it very strongly to you, sometimes a little bit even shocking us. But on another hand, she was always extremely open, and it was really a pleasure to work with her on this field. And on the other side, she was also very emotional. When this communication of Léon Denis came, you always had to have a box with tissues, these paper tissues. I don't know, Kleenex or whatever the name it is in English, because a lot of times she started emotionally with some tears, and you could really feel the hurt and her hurt and the love she had in this hurt, and all that motivated by this meeting with Kardec's philosophy, body of knowledge. And she tells it very well in these videos, how it started, how she could find meaning in the life, and a lot of answers on these existential questions. And that was when she found it, she kept it all her life through. And then same year, in 1998, she came also to France in 1997 when we had International Spiritist Council meeting in Paris. And it was also very active participation from her. And that was when we created the coordination, continental coordination. There was a coordination for Europe of the International Spiritist Council. And the first meeting, the first gathering of this European department was organized by Janet in London. And it was, if I remember well, the same year in September 1998. And from that time, every meeting she came, we participated together, Miami in year 2000. And I don't remember if she was in Guatemala, but she came to Paris, as Vanessa told, in 2004 for the fourth International Spiritist Congress. And so it was really very lovely to work with her in this Spiritism body of knowledge. Mostly because of sharing these ideas of what's the best way to communicate. She was a little bit perfectionist, you know. That's why the translations she made basically the translation of the Gospel according to Spiritism, because she promised it to Sheikh Xavier. The last revision was not so long ago, this new edition with a green cover, hardcover, which is shown in the video. Unfortunately, we couldn't see it. And that was really a huge achievement for her. And I remember also having met her in her home, in her flat. She was really had everything under control, you know, over 90 years already. Everything was under control. She was always telling, be careful because that door of the fridge has this and that small defect, and because this and that, and there was a small door for the cat to enter and not the other cats, and a lot, everything very, very well organized. She was already still using the computer with over 90 years, answering to emails. As Leslie told, also making virtual meetings during the COVID. So she, of course, she had some difficulties more than the younger people, but she was mastering it and had always some help and advices from some people who helped her to keep everything running well. And I remember also when she was showing me her garden behind her house, all the flowers, roses, everything also perfectly organized. And lovely was also in the evening were appearing some foxes in the garden. She was so happy to see those foxes, and so really showing how she was full of love for natures and full of gratitude for having found a meaning in her life, because she was also telling sometimes when she was younger, before knowing Kardec, she had faced some huge difficulties, and she was very close to thinking about taking her life. But luckily, the Spiritist body of knowledge came in the right time to change completely this mindset and to have this strong woman, which had this huge mission until accomplished until very recently, and now today allowed to go back to the other side, to the spiritual realm, to recover a little bit of energies after this long incarnation, which really for her was not a holiday.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Also, I want to say thank you. We do have a lot of interactions here. Alan Bodler, thank you, Alan. Deborah Gardner, 6828. Brazuca 90. Flavia Cobb. Sally Rapchik. So thank you, my friends, for the message. Everybody knew Janet, and I'm pretty sure have their messages, like everybody here has your own private moment with Janet, which is amazing. So then, you, my dear Elsa.
I can contribute a little bit the time that I lived beside Janet. But I'd like to focus that in 1983, she founded the Allan Kardec Study Group, so the oldest group in the UK now, consistently working in English, as Silvia pointed out very well, since the beginning. For 42 years, this group has stood as a living testimony to her vision, perseverance, and an unwearying faith. I have the honor of being the second president, and with deep responsibility and love, we are committed to preserving Janet's legacy, ensuring that her work continues to serve and inspire future generations, as Leslie pointed in the beginning. My personal journey with Janet began much earlier. I first met her at the World Spiritist Congress in Madrid in October 1992. From that very first encounter, a profound bond was formed, one of mutual respect, shared ideals, and deep spiritual connection. So strong was this closer and to continuing. Something missed aquí my slides. Yes, I cannot read here. Something wrong here. But at least we worked together for so many years. The last 5, 6 years, I used to cut her hair, and she found in me, "Oh, you are doing my hair the way that I want." So we continuing working, cutting her hair, going there, do her nails, at least taking care as a person that brought so many things to us and teach me how to use the ways to approach cultural in this country with other people. Now we have so many British friends. They don't come to Spiritist Center, but they know the books. They know the gospel, the medium's book, psychiatrists, and other director of magazines, journals. They know Janet, and Janet is in which ever will be our standard, our main example how to work really in this country to spread Spiritist teachings. And in our action now in Allan Kardec Study Group, we can see since in January the group is growing, slightly bringing people together, people that don't believe in God, people that are atheists or humanists, or whatever. They are really slightly change a little bit in knowing that the nature has something behind. The conscious have something behind. The spirit is immortal. So many things that we really good do together. So we grieve today her absence, of course, but we rejoice in her return to the spiritual homeland. Gratitude fills our hearts for a life so well lived, so generously offered in service to others. And Janet stayed as a past chairperson for some years during this the past time. I think it was 2010, something that I assume in 2010. But Janet was also the president. So a celebration in heaven, in lovely memory of Janet Duncan. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so
And I show some slides, Stevan, because there's a picture. There's a lot
yeah,
of people here.
it's you. I already put it here, so you
Okay.
can, yeah, you can.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, look what I have done.
Now you removed.
Sorry. I did something wrong. Oh, I closed the slides. Now I open again quickly, okay? Just a minute. I hope I can quickly open it. Yeah, again. Can you see them?
No,
No? So I'm not sharing.
no.
What I have done here.
Okay.
Yes. Done?
Yeah.
Yes? So I put some photos here that I found in our emails to show you how the people that didn't know Johnny perhaps can see now some pictures of her birthday, always commemorate, celebrate between people, close friends, and in the groups as well. Here with us. It's a beautiful lady, strong lady. We always together, 90 years old here, okay? We did a special video for her, 90 years old, with the group. It's one of the first meeting when she brought Divaldo Franco. Silvia, I don't know if Silvia remember that time. I don't know. But I don't know if Silvia is still here. But it was in the beginning when she started the Allan Kardec Study Group in 1983. Traveled to Devon with Divaldo Franco. With Mauro already passed away. Jack already passed away. It's Mauro and Jack. But the other friends are there. Between friends, all together. Dr. Marlene Nobre, Dr. Irvenia Prada. They are close friends as well. Here, the one that passed away, the white hair, are their friends as well. So many. Deborah, Adam, Valeria, Ethel, more people, Betty, Gilson, Angela, she's in the spiritual realm as well. Here, Janet was about to give a talk. We are together watching the video. Again, with Janet. In our congresses, medical spiritism congresses, Dr. Marlene Nobre passed away as well so many years, 11 years ago. With Joca Dalidoni, that was president of BAS as well. Raul Teixeira. So many good memories, my lovely people. Here, when I received my certificate as a British citizen, she was beside me as well. A lovely picture in her home after the meeting. Deborah, Ron, you see people there. Irene, that designed the cover of a Christian Agenda when Janet translated. I have this hat. She gave to me. Lucia, more moments of cakes and birthday. The video that will be shown. Sorry that I have more picture of me because I was catching in the Facebook all the pictures here with my dog. And finish. Okay? At least we had something with Janet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. So, I think this is it for us. Whatever we try to do here, it's not 1% of what she did. And
but you know that I have so many particularities about Janet's life that she tell in these 3 videos that we promote from BAS in past years, a beautiful journey, the interview, and the other ones, in the first videos that they allow us to translate, put subtitles in English, and gave to us the right to display now BAS Audiovisuals YouTube channel, BAS channel, that we have so many things with Janet now. If people are browsing on the internet, can find. But one particular, I would like to share quickly here, if I have time, that she had in São Paulo, work in São Paulo, with a lot of things that she did there. She heard a voice, go to Chico, go to Chico. And she said, what about Chico? Who is Chico? Who is Chico? At least she went to Uberaba without knowing nothing about the journey, about how many hours, etc. And in the bus, she said, who here knows Chico Xavier? And a couple behind her said, we know Chico Xavier, we are going there. So they went together. She was in the middle of more than 500 people that always be there around Chico. And Chico said, someone asked in loud voice, who is Janet Duncan? Who is Janet Duncan? She presented herself, went to Chico Xavier, talked to Chico, Hello, Janet Duncan. He said, he started writing a paper and show her, Janet Duncan. That is, show her, oh, yes, Janet Duncan. So 2 times she said Janet Duncan, and Chico Xavier wrote her name without knowing her. First time she didn't, because she never told people to her real name. That's Jean Annette Duncan. Everybody knows Janet Duncan. And she was really amazed. And Chico Xavier said to her, return to São Paulo, go to this place and talk with Spartaco Gilardi. And yesterday morning, when we were doing a prayer together with Marta and Sueli, I told Leslie, I think, immediately my body changed a little bit, and I felt Spartaco Gilardi. I don't know him. I even didn't remember that he was close to Janet, and he was there beside Janet in the morning yesterday. That was something remarkable in my life. And Janet started knowing Spiritism with Spartaco Gilardi. And Spartaco Gilardi also received Janet in spiritual realm, as Divaldo, Chico, and others that we know, Dr. Marlene. But this is, for me, is remarkable to know. And when Leslie told about the heavy door, that no one opened this door in the room of the patients there, and blew yesterday, almost 9 p.m. evening, and was really remarkable as well. That is clearly the benefactors, the spirits, are surrounding us until the end and more after our passed away. We are with them. They are waiting Janet, was waiting Janet, they were waiting Janet, they are with Janet now. And we are happy to say that in the middle of tears, there are happiness as well, because she needs to return. Her body was really weak, tired, and she is now freedom to do what she wants to do. That is teaching others about spiritual life. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear Elsa. And I want to emphasize that all this, with all her knowledge, everything she had, she never ever said that Kardec needs to be updated, needs to
Exactly.
be modernized. She used Kardec as it is. So, thank you, Janet, for everything. I will never forget the hug he gave me when she knew that I was coming to Ireland. And when she asked me, oh, I think I was gone. And when Janet asked me about how gonna be the work in Ireland, Portuguese, I said, no, Janet. We will do it in English, even a wrong English, but you're gonna do it. And she said, just do it, never give up. And I made a promise to her, if while I'm there, it's gonna be in English, and I'm doing it, and I will maintain my commitment with her. So this is it from us, my friends. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Leslie. It was a pleasure to have you here. We haven't met before, but your contribution, your presence here enlight our group. Silvia, thank you for attending my call, to jump in here.
Thank you. Oh, always my pleasure. Thank you for
Yeah.
inviting me to share with everyone
Look
this
at what
special day.
Feliz wrote there, Silvia.
Yeah?
Look what is Sueli put here. I tested the door today. It was not possible to open it without unlocking it.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. So I'll see you. We will all see you next week. Thank you, Charles. Merci for your time. My dear Elsa, Thank you. I know
New
you're
Year
in a
to
rush
everyone.
today. Keep
What
going,
Charles
Charles.
said.
I cut you. I cut you, Charles.
Good night. God bless you all.
Okay. Thank you. Janet, go in peace.
Yeah.
Have fun
Let's
and
get
look
in
after
touch.
us.
Yes.
Thank you very much. God bless you, Marcel.
God bless everyone.
Yeah. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.